Yeah, welcome to another podcast. This is getting into a nice routine. I'm Kalle Beck, joined by Mike Bottolino. Bottolino? Did I say it right this time? Or did I get
Badalino? Silent
Battolino?
Silent G.
Uh, Battolino. We're Worlds is all wrapped up. That's all done. We'll talk about that in a bit, even though you've probably seen it. But I mean, it's not official until I weigh in our expert opinion on it.
Shaw
I don't
said you
think
can find the results online if you search for
he
them.
did. That's a great way to put it. Like if you search for things on the internet, sometimes you can find them.
I can't say who won, wink wink, but if you look around, thanks for all the support.
You'll see why I'm so happy. But no surprise there. But before we get into that, Mike, you're competing next weekend. What, 6 days from now? We're recording on Sunday at the
Yes.
SoFit Platinum Plus and Strongest Woman in the World. You're competing in the first part of that contest, just the
I am
SoFit Platinum
indeed
Plus.
doing the first part of that, yes. I am not eligible for the other half.
No, not quite.
But yeah, it should be pretty fun. Looks like there's about 24, 25 heavyweights, half of them from Texas.
Yeah, it's Texas invades Florida. The SoFit. I assume without being to Jacksonville that it's very similar to parts of Texas. So they're gonna feel right at home.
Yeah, it should be. I'm looking forward to since I train outside most of the time, looking forward to being indoors. I like the the inside stuff. When they did that Giants live in Indiana a few weeks ago, I was like, that looks fun.
Yeah,
Everyone spent the whole most of the time in the car.
yeah.
So
That when you are in a looked like a rodeo grounds with dirt flying everywhere, and it's about 100 degrees. It's a great way to lift. Yeah, it's nice to be inside an expo, other than the slippery floors.
yeah,
Depending on the events. That's the one downside is that polished concrete on the expos if they don't put down mats or whatever. So
that's a good point. So they're doing one of the events is a keg carry medley with five, what I believe are going to be the kegs of steel. So
five of them,
yeah, five for the heavyweights. It's five 250 kegs, and
lovely.
some distance. I've seen a couple different things for the distances, so we'll find out when we get there.
You have to see how long the venue is. That's how it usually works. Do
Yeah,
we have 30? Do we have 50 feet of room? Okay, then it's 50 feet.
but it'll be interesting to see how the kegs hold up with all the competitors throughout the day.
Yeah, they'll definitely be dropping them. Those things, I don't know. I haven't really looked closely at one of those kegs of steel if the lip on the bottom is similar to a normal site, like a normal beer keg.
It was pretty similar. I had a press event with it last month. It's
Hmm.
pretty similar. It feels pretty good. Feels pretty balanced. I
Right
liked
on.
it.
But yeah, that's if you ever do compete in an expo, is your footwear is on stuff like that because the problem is it's the starting and stopping also. Like when you're going back to that next keg, you can kind of slide around a bit. So you have to be the like if you step with like a on like a damp cloth, it helps a little bit. Or the thing that Brian Shaw I know uses is a shoe with a gum sole. Not sure
Huh.
exactly what that is, but I hear that that sticks well to that surface.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like so top the winner of that gets their Strongman Corporation Pro card.
I think there'll be a few for sure contenders.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's some good names there. There's I see Lucian Herrick, Jacob Finnerty, Davis Dilly,
I think it's I thought it was
Diley,
Diley. I don't know. I
Diley.
could be wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, Casey Shu, bunch of top name amateurs there, and of course, like you said, Gabriel Pena who went to the Arnold Amateur Finals. I'm not gonna list off. There's a bunch of good people, and Mike too. Mike's gonna be good. Oh, um, but yeah,
Trey.
yeah, Trey,
Ken
Ken
Nowicki.
Nowicki.
Yeah.
I mean, I could just list off this whole roster, but yeah, looks like that's gonna be a tough contest. Looks to be good. And no offense, Mike, but I find that the interesting part of it is the strongest woman in the world part.
Yeah.
since
I didn't know there are about 10 women in each of those classes.
yeah,
It
give or
looks like.
take. As of today, looking at what I'm sure is not the completed competitors list. Heavyweight, middleweight, and lightweight women. And this is an interesting one because this is the first contest where when Dion announced that there's pro cards for the women that took top four at the Arnold and former and people in the past who had either won the Arnold and or nationals, and I think or no, nationals was invited. I think it was just Arnold winners in the last couple of years. They pretty much retroactively now are pro strong women, and this is I think the first contest that's technically like a pro strong woman show. So that's interesting, and Reebok is sponsoring it, and they said there's around $10,000 in prize money, which is
Pretty awesome.
not, yeah, it's good, not too bad. But heavyweight, there's Kristen Rhodes is coming back to compete. That's the first time in a year or two, so that's always exciting. See how she's gonna stack up against everyone else who's kind of been making strides in her absence, and is new to the scene. But yeah, and I think there's uh, some other women that compete at the Arnold this last year. Who a couple of the girls that qualified through the show I put on, California Strongest Woman. We have Cerise Peck. She competed there, and Julie Schmay got their invite to the show through California Strongest Woman. They're all very strong
Nice.
heavyweights, so that's pretty cool. That we're able to give them a little bit of prize money to hopefully help fund towards these traveling to Florida and compete at pretty much a groundbreaking contest in a lot of ways, and that's gonna be good. Also, lightweight women. It looks like pretty much all the four lightweight women that made the Arnold finals are going. At least half of them. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough contest, and people should definitely check it out and stay tuned. And who's let's see the people from California Strongest Woman qualifying. Yeah, Jamie Pop Christensen. She won California Strongest Woman to qualify there, and she's going. So again, that's cool to see. We're able to send a couple women out there, but it looks like an interesting event.
They compete over 2 days.
They're
Uh,
doing they're
they do. They're 2 days. Yeah, we're only one.
okay, so they're doing a couple more events because it's supposed to be pretty much like a world championship. Even though
Yeah, they're just not doing the Stone of Steel the first day. Like we're finishing with the Stone of Steel,
uh-huh.
and then the next day they're coming back to do the Stone of Steel, and they're doing a circus dumbbell, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure which dumbbell that is.
Huh. I wonder if it's I don't know if Bartos has came out with his smaller, like lightweight men and female sized loadable. What's he call it? Big top circus
Big top.
dumbbell.
Yeah, I don't know that he has. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna assume it's not gonna be that one because I don't.
I'm
think that's
excited
come out.
to take the yoke after the competition because I bought that yoke. So if I do well on the yoke, I'm gonna mark that one. I think I bought one and Johnny Wasiko bought the other one. So
Nice.
I'm gonna mark that one and be like, all right, this one's mine. PR yoke, taking
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah, they look like a solid piece of equipment.
It's
Um,
330 empty, so I'm excited.
yeah, that's always good. You don't have to carry as much plates into the road that way. Which always helps. But it, the other point with this is that's interesting is then a couple weeks after this, over in England, is going to be the official World's Strongest Woman,
Yes.
and also World's Strongest Master, which I don't think is the right terminology to call that contest. It sounds kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know what would be. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what a better name for that would be.
It's basically the strongest 40-year-old and older men in the world.
Because I mean, Nick Best and Mark Felix are still competing at World's Strongest Man. So
And they are also going to be competing at Masters World's Strongest Man as well. So
yep.
I'm gonna think it's gonna be between them. I saw that Nick Best put that Giants Live put out a little like WWE style promo with Nick Best
Nice.
yesterday, saying, "I don't care who's there. I'm gonna disappoint all the English fans." I liked it. I liked it, but he didn't fully commit because then he said that he loves all the fans in England, and I think like how hard he was going with it, he should have just been like, I'm just coming there to disappoint all of you, and I'm waiting for you all to boo. Just like go full with it if you're gonna do it, you know. He said, go ahead and throw tomatoes at me. So you know it's Master Strongest Man when they remember when crowds used to throw tomatoes at people. But I'm sure it'll be an interesting contest and most likely be pretty much between Mark Felix and Nick Best. I'm going to assume.
Yeah.
I don't know who all else is going. I know that you can get tickets for it if you happen to live. I think it's in Doncaster at the Doncaster Dome, if I'm saying that right. And they say there's 10,000 seats. It seems like every Giants Live Strongman event that they put on has a 10,000 seat arena.
They seem to fill it pretty well.
Yeah. I
You know,
mean,
people get pretty fired up to go.
so
People post pictures of their tickets for those events, which doesn't happen in the U.S. You know,
I think that has to do with Strongman being on like regular television there probably
yeah.
helps, not like some obscure CBS Sports. And I think Eddie Hall's done a lot for that. It seems like he's really brought up the um, how interested everyone is in Strongman again. So you know, people want to talk shit on Eddie Hall, but he has done a lot of really good things for the sport as far as all that goes.
So, do you want to use that as a jumping point to talk about how he finished in World's Strongest Man?
He won. No, yeah, he placed third.
But Kalle, I thought he was only a one-trick strongman,
Of
like
course he
everyone
is.
wants to
Yes.
say.
He got what 9.5 points in the deadlift, and that was good enough for third at World's Strongest Man. Those 9.5 points. But no, he had a rough start. The first event, World's Strongest Man, was the frame carry. And as we discussed last week, we thought that was going to be a very crucial event. And Eddie Hall got 1 point in it in 10th place. I think he went maybe less than halfway down the course and just kind of then sat on the frame and watched everyone else, is what I heard.
So he dislocated another finger when he was doing that, supposedly?
Yeah, I think I don't know what the cause of that would be, but maybe you notice when he does deadlift in his figure eight straps, which you can get at store.startingstrongman.com. He kind of holds it in his fingertips. So I imagine which is you get you're cheating the range of motion a little bit like that, but you still have to support the weight somehow. And I would think when you're having to support 500 kilograms, that's probably hard on the finger joint without like an actual closed hand. So
yeah,
I'm sure his training, it kind of takes its toll.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
I don't know, but you know, when you're lifting extreme weights, things like that happen. But I think it was pretty remarkable that he was able to kind of claw his way back into his first podium finish. He, of course, finished third overall. Still, you know, there's a big separation with Brian Shaw in first with 53 points and Hafthor Bjornsson in second with 51. And Eddie had 43, so there's a pretty big separation there, but it's pretty hard to start off in 10th and over, what, six events?
End up in third?
Yeah. So still some glaring weaknesses there, but, you know, yeah, he did pretty well. Kilkowski won the frame carry with of course, most of this we don't know, like what the time differences were or anything. The big shocker, I think we all have to agree, of the whole finals was
Constantine.
Yeah, Constantine of Georgia, the Georginian Bull, as his Facebook fan page calls him. Started off strong with getting second in the frame carry. And I think, yeah, Brian Shaw got third, Hafthor got fifth, right in the middle of the pack. And then Constantine got a tie for second, I believe, in the circus barbell, and he was pretty much, yeah, he was winning the contest at that point after two events, which I don't I certainly didn't see.
No.
Um, I literally knew nothing of him, so and now everyone else kind of does. But it seems like he keeps making huge strides. He ended up finishing fourth overall, not I don't think far off of a podium spot. So it's I think that's the most remarkable thing of this World's Strongest Man was all the new names and them doing pretty well. Maybe not in every single event, but overall, maybe not new names to you or I, but to strongman fans as a whole. The likes of Martins and Belsac had some good events. Constantine. A lot of these competitors are, about 25 or younger, which is,
Hmm.
not necessarily that's not too common. The average age of the entire finals was 28 and a half, which seems pretty young for the sport.
Is Thor even that old? No.
No, no, let's see,
No.
he has to be, but
27,
yeah,
26?
27, 28 now, maybe probably 27, 26. Yeah, so yeah, Thor's it's just he's been around since he was like 21 or 20,
19.
yeah, 19. So
Yeah. When
it,
he looked like he was 30.
hmm so yeah, it doesn't seem as fresh of a face anymore because he's been everywhere.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that competitors like Martins and Constantine will get those they'll get invited to more contests, more Giants lives and stuff like that, and then kind of make their rounds in the circuit. As long as that's the that's the problem with strongman is you see these um, competitors come up and have these really good performances once or twice at a big contest or even worlds, and then they kind of fall off because it's a very hard sport to do for a long period of time.
Definitely.
So that's what I feel like separates who like everyone gets to know versus people that kind of come and go.
Yeah,
Is
there's disease versus everyone else that's just in it for a couple of years. You're like, what
yeah,
happened to that guy?
yeah, you get the constant. I still, whenever I post World's Strongest Man updates on Starting Strongman, will get like, well, is Kevin Nee competing? I'm like, yeah, like people remember they liked it, but he's
Yeah.
hasn't really.
Is Poundstone coming back?
No, he's not coming back. Who's the Norwegian guy who made the finals and could load stones? Harold
Oh,
Haugen.
Harold Haugen. Yeah.
So like,
Crazy stone at Stones. I'd love
yeah,
to see him go against Thor.
he still might be right up there with like his stone loading like back then, a
Insane.
couple years ago was just about as good as anyone now in
And then he
series.
jumped on the platform.
Yes, very athletic guy, but he made Worlds final. I think got ninth or 10th. I think you get about $2,000 for being the ninth strongest man in the world, and went, what the fuck was I doing that for? And never came back.
I think he became an actor, I believe.
He started boxing, I
Oh,
know
okay.
that. But there's lots of Harold Haugens and stuff which they show all this promise, but they just don't stick to it because again, you might get $2,000 for being the ninth strongest man in the world. I don't know what the prize money was this year. So to really stick with it, you have to have that something wrong with you, or like you really do. So that's just not for everyone. Um, did you see the video? I think it was Eddie and Half Thor doing the barbell for reps. That's the
Destroying the barbell.
one of the few um, videos we saw from the finals anywhere.
We didn't even think that many reps would happen.
No, not even close. I was guessing about six, but
Yeah.
they got eight apiece, and I think Half Thor was locking out his ninth, and time was called shortly before he did. So
Was it 60 seconds or did it end up being 75?
I would have to look back at the video, but
Yeah.
I think it was 60, but that's a
That's
lot of
fast.
reps.
Yeah. And they still, I mean, Eddie looked like if he had gone from rep to rep, he probably could have gotten 10. But he took a little bit of a break between a couple of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Hathor's endurance definitely helped him stay, to tie for first in that one, and that was good. But yeah,
Yep.
it looks like ties like that can be a big difference. So like he would have got getting those half a points instead of getting the full 10 points where you get 9.5 is pretty huge. But then also Constantine ties Brian Shaw with 7 reps in that
Did they
event.
they went against each other, right? On that
Yeah, I would. If we're going off
birds,
no, I don't think so because I think Constantine would have went
Gilskowski.
with Kilkowski.
Yeah. It seems like sometimes they shake it up a little bit, though.
They
I
they
think.
must have because there's no way Eddie Hall would go with Halfthor if we're going
Oh,
off
there we go.
frame
Yeah,
carry. So
they don't do like normal strongman events in the U.S. They're like, this is a TV show. Who's going to be good against each
yeah,
other?
who do we want to focus on this entire time? So I don't know what they did then. So there's no logical way to base it on if we're gonna go off of that Eddie Hall got 10th and Halfler got 5th, and then they
Fight
went head
against
to
each
head
other.
in the next event. Of course, sorry to see that Big Laws Lawrence injured his calf in the frame carry. That was too bad. I think he would have been right up there, probably. In the events, if you look at him, would have been right up there, contending in that podium spot. But hopefully, it's not too serious.
He said he kept trying, a couple more times to pick it up, and he's like, 800 pounds, one leg, wasn't going to work.
Yeah, not too good. Deadlift for max. What I find amusing is when people are shocked that Eddie Hall only lifted 445 kilos when he's good for 500.
They're
But
also exhausted. It's really hot. They've been out there for a while, and that was the third event of the day.
yeah, not only the third event of the day, but they already did pretty much a whole contest over a week in the
Yeah.
qualifiers. And he came, in this time, he came to do more than just deadlift and go out of the contest. You can't go up to 500 kilos, which, as some, news outlets said, nearly killed him, and then expect to keep competing and do a plane pull the next morning.
I guess I missed this, but I didn't see that JF Caron pulled 435.
Yeah,
It's pretty huge
it's a lot of weight.
because he doesn't weigh that much.
No, he's not the biggest guy. But yeah, that was. It seems like without watching it, I think in the when you watch like the TV broadcast, JF Caron's gonna just silently
Get into fifth?
get into fifth. Where
Yeah,
you're gonna focus on the big like where Kilkowski gets first in the frame.
yeah.
Martins gets some big points. Constantine shocking everyone. Of course, they're gonna focus a lot on Hall, Halfthor, and Shaw. But I feel like, and then you're just going to look at the end and wait. Oh, wait a second. JF Cron got 5th. If you're watching this at home, I feel like it's going to have that feel.
Yeah, he doesn't. He seems to always get less credit than he's due.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Do you remember at the Arnold, he flipped a brand new 1,500-pound tire 3 times?
Yeah, he did that. Actually, I was there stage side, and I don't think I even watched it. So I was busy like grabbing interviews with people. So even I don't give him the credit he's due. But I did say that I expect him to probably be up there
Top
in the
five.
top 5, which
Yeah, you're right.
he sneaked into. So it's not that I'm not giving him credit. I know how good he is. It's just he just kind of seems to silently do it. There's always that guy.
He was the. I mean, when he beat out Poundstone to make it into the finals in 2012, a lot of people back then were like, JF, who?
Yeah, definitely I was. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't think he did that well in the finals that year because
No.
he really had to try to beat Poundstone, but
After that, though, he kind of came into his own.
yeah.
And then the next day we had that amazing plane pull. I can't wait to see that. I mean, it'll be cool, but I'm frustrated. Like I told you, I'm frustrated. they didn't finish again, and it's obviously not their fault. I'm sure there was an incline towards the end again.
Well, it's not going to be cool to watch on television. I'll just say it.
Yeah,
If you look at the results, this is one of the few events that we have the actual like distances for. Last place was JF Caron, who pulled at 21.73 meters, and first place was Hafthor Bjornsson, who pulled at 24.9 meters. So you have about a little over a 3 meter difference. No one
about 10,
finished it.
10 feet.
Yeah, about 10 feet,
Yeah.
which if you're watching is going to look exactly the same from first to last. So I'm going to assume that's going to be the event where they skip over.
Or they have like
Yeah,
here's Shaw winning.
yeah,
Or no, not winning. I'm sorry. Here's Thor winning.
yeah. You know how they kind of show it, and then they always have that one event. You're like, wait, I wanted to see that, and they usually do something cool, like it's log for max, where they don't show the whole thing, and they because it takes longer for time. So
Yeah.
TV broadcast, it doesn't make it. I'm going to assume that's going to be the plane pull that no one finished. But
But it's been a couple of years of this. And it kind of started with that. Was it in China when they left the parking brake on
yeah,
the bus?
that was in a group.
Oh, that was okay. Yeah, it
Um,
wasn't the finals, but
yeah, but they definitely did that. I think. Yeah, and then last year in Malaysia they had that big bus pull, and almost no one finished it, but it was good because then Z finishes it and then waves the bus to keep coming towards him because he was saying how easy it was. So like Z saved the day with that. It's like, okay, well no one else did, but Zadrunas did it so easily that he was able to then stop, turn around, and wave the bus like like he's trying to guide it into where to park.
he's got some good humor to him. Like
It's
this morning, he posted a picture of his arm and writes forearm.
yes, I think Zadrunas has very underrated humor.
He does. He took a picture flexing with Arnold's a cutout of Arnold the other day.
Yeah, with him and Lawless, which I
Yeah,
reposted just because it was really good.
yeah.
It was like Lithuanians here to compete or something. Yeah, I think I don't think he gets the credit he deserves, but that's great showmanship when you you finish a bus and then guide it in.
Yeah.
When no, especially when no, like I think no one else or like one or two other people even finished it. So Z was definitely missed this year, but yeah, I don't think that that's going to be a very great television. But Hafthor was able to get that point on Shaw, which was big at the time, to move the points gap into only 2 points with two events to go. Then there was the kettlebell throw. I'll be interested to see how close the times were.
I bet you they're very close.
I think so too. And who was it? Yeah, Hafthor.
Third,
What's that?
third was JF Caron.
Yeah, JF Caron got third in this event.
Nice.
Martins got last, which I was kind of surprised by, but
Me too. I don't know if he missed one or we
Yeah,
really don't know.
yeah, he could have been trying to go too fast, but he's a pretty athletic and guy. I think he'd be good at that, but they also get fairly heavy by the end, so
I'd be willing to bet he'll probably train that hard now because he seems to train his weaknesses pretty hard.
yeah, he's definitely good at that. So that cost him a lot of points there, but Eddie Hall, I think, got a surprising fourth in it, which isn't too bad. I think deadlifting 500 kilos helps to throw things high up in the air. So that was good. And who got third? Yeah, JF Cron, like you said. And then Hafthor got beat out by Shaw in that event, so he took second, and Shaw got first, which when I saw that went, oh, well, it's going to take pretty much a miracle like
Yeah.
Mike Burke tipping the platform and confusing Shaw in order for Shaw to not win World's Strongest Man after that. So,
Like you said, Shaw pretty much doesn't make any mistakes.
no, he really doesn't. And then, Hafthor went on to win the Stones, but Shaw got second, which doesn't matter, which just lowered the gap to 2 points, but it doesn't matter how much you win by, you still win. So
That'll be good. I mean, I'm sure they went against each other in the Stones, so that'll be good to see on TV finally.
yeah, I think overall, looking at how all this was, and it was kind of mixed up, and the drama of a newcomer winning, of Eddie Hall getting in 10th, and I'm sure they'll play that all up, and a newcomer winning, leading after two events, and
Especially the Eurosport version, for
yeah,
sure.
I think that'll be really good. And then Hathor being right behind there, and then winning, and then they're gonna be like, but was it enough? And then they're gonna count. It's gonna. I think this will be a really fun TV production to watch.
Yeah.
Of course, unless we've already spoiled it for you. Like I've seen a couple people posting that they're quite mad at me that you can't even go on Facebook because now World's Strongest Man on Christmas is spoiled for them.
Dude, I watch this every year on Christmas. I record every episode, and it doesn't matter. I haven't seen it all. I haven't seen the production value, so it's always an awesome Christmas day watching this.
Yes, and I don't think it's gonna those same. I don't think they follow it close enough to be that spoiled by it, anyways. Yeah. But it's just people are gonna people, so and
people gonna people.
So that's kind of how I look at that. But yeah, overall, I think it was a pretty damn good. It looks like it's going to be a good, fun to watch Worlds, exciting TV production.
And now, what's going to be cool is as long as Zadrunas is healthy next year, both him and Shah are going to go for their 5th title.
Yeah,
Marius.
That has to happen. That'll be really interesting, and of course they'll play that up a bunch. And I'm sure neither one wants to be the third person looking for 5. So
yeah.
How old is Zadrunas now?
Either 39 or 40, I think. Let's see.
He's probably going to be 40 by next year.
I wonder if that would make him the oldest to win.
I don't know.
Let's see. Z is now 41.
Wow. Right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So he should go beat out Nick Best in 2 weeks in I think it's next weekend. Or in a couple weeks. Yeah, just shows up.
He did the Rogue did all the videos last year where they talked to, or over the past couple of years where they talked to different strongmen, and they talked to Z last year, and he's like, I'm going for my 8th title. 7 is good, but 8 is better. I've been doing this sport 25 years.
Jesus.
You're like, oh my God, man.
So Z's been competing in strongman as long or longer than about a third of the competitors in the finals this year have been alive.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I wonder if that's because to me it looks, I don't know, maybe it's good lighting, but it looks like Z is leaning out quite a bit. Well, he's looking pretty freaking jacked.
Yeah, he seems to do that whenever he's hurt or in between contests. And I know he just competed at the Arnold Asia and got second. Did we even talk about the Arnold Asia yet? I don't think so.
Yeah, no.
Okay, we'll go into that. So the Arnold Asia was at the same time as Worlds, and then there was some big names there. Zadrunas Savickas, Vatitas Lawless, Mikhail Shivlikov, Dimitar Savatinov, Martin Wildauer. Those are 5 final, former World's Strongest Man finalists right there. They were all competing at the Arnold Asia, but you can tell by watching the videos that Zadrunas is definitely, he's not in world shape.
Yeah.
Which, it's crazy because it says that he only went up to like 190 kilos on the max log, and everyone's like, what the hell? And it's like, he is injured and is coming back from a back injury and still can hit 190, probably casually.
Yeah.
It depends on how you look at it, which is still a lot of weight. I think they also had, 500 kilogram yoke?
I mean, it's a good payday for him. He competes a little bit. I'm sure he would have liked to win, but he's not, he's not broken up about it.
No, he's not. You can tell he was, it's like when when like a baseball player goes and starts plays a couple AAA games again.
Yeah.
It seemed kind of like that. Like he didn't look too comfortable carrying a 500 kilo yoke, but again, it is 1,100 pounds, and he is coming from a back injury. So you have to think about how strong he is that he's able to still do that, not 100%. And the majority of even good strongman can't even do that. Period. But
Yeah, if you look at looking at the score sheets we do have, he didn't. It doesn't look like he finished the stones, but he did well enough to get third.
mhm.
And then Lawless barely beat out Martin Wildauer on those stones.
Yeah, Lawless looked good. He pressed a 200 kilo log and beat Zadrunas. I'm pretty sure this is the first time
I think
that
you're right.
that that Lawless has beaten Zadrunas, and I confirm this with all the experts in strongman, and by experts I mean Craig.
And the wiki.
No, I mean Craig Pfister when I.
Does he? Where does he? Does he just post in Facebook a little bit now? Because I know he was a lot on the Maroon Day muscle forums and.
Yeah, he keeps a training log on his like blog spot, but
Yeah.
he messages me a lot with like updates and stuff, which I'm very thankful for.
Yeah, you're like, how did you get this?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I have a GoPro drone flying over the event.
He must. But yeah, he knows all those fun facts if you really want to geek out on strongman about the different things like that. He's very good at it. So when I'm like, "Do you think Lawless is this the first time?" He's like, "I'm pretty sure." I'm like, "That's good enough for me to say that this is the first time if you can't think of one off the top of your head." So
Yeah.
um so that's pretty big. I imagine that, probably helps him out that he might not do the same thing like when he should have won Worlds and then Z won in what was that 2012?
Yep, 12.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles.
Yeah, so he actually beat his Lithuanian counterpart. As he said, no, I cannot beat Zadrunas. Zadrunas is a legend in 2012. Well, now you have. So that was
Yes.
good to see.
Hopefully he's healthy next year. I'd like to see Lawless come back too.
Hopefully they both are. I think it really, if for Worlds, it really depends on how much the Arnold kills the other competitors, because the Arnold is so heavy that it's amazing that I mean pretty much everyone in the top five got injured there. If you think
Yeah.
about it, like you're gonna get hurt. I think they just need to do away with that bail tote.
Yep. Well, you made that. The poll, and put it on the Facebook, and pretty much everyone agreed.
I think
Bring back the freaking stones.
I think 2 or 3 people were like, "No, this bail tote's really cool," but
It's not cool at all.
no,
It's not fun to watch.
it's not fun to watch.
Seen it in person. I'm like, this sucks. And I see him get under it, and they're like,
No, and
Mike Burke put it when they did his, rogue profile a couple years ago. He's like, man, that yoke is just heavy as hell. Yeah, it's horrible. They're like, oh, let's make it heavier.
oh, thanks.
No, 1,500 pounds is enough.
It's plenty heavy. Oh, what else was there to talk about? Yeah, the Arnold Asia. Have you seen Kilkowski
Uh-huh.
in every photo taken of him in a group?
A couple. Why?
Have you noticed that he does not ever look happy at all?
He's also, I mean, he's not quite as big as the other guys, but he's still like destroying stuff.
Oh, he's definitely very strong.
Yeah.
But there's some there's a picture that I think Hathor's mom posted
Nice.
of like the entire, it has Brian up there and Hathor second, and everyone else is, all the Eddie Hall's third, and the rest are kind of on each side, and everyone's kind of putting on their face, looking at the camera, and Kilkowski's just sitting there like,
Dude, okay, so I went back to the score page. I clicked on his name because you had that hyperlink. The first thing that comes up is a picture of him and a couple of people. One guy, the guy in the Yankees jacket, and
Hmm.
he looks so pissed off. He
And
does look. He looks mad.
and then there's also one that was posted somewhere on Instagram of him riding back in the bus, and there's like Martins has his tongue out, and
Yeah.
like Constantine's like looks happy. Laws is there, and he has a torn calf, and he's smiling. And I'm gonna message you the picture of
Okay.
Kilkowski. Just the I don't have the whole picture. I just screenshot that, but just that. And this you should get it in a second.
Oh, let's see. Click on it. He looks so disinterested. He's
He's
like
like,
with the Under Armour hat. Yeah.
I don't. It's like you went to your first Worlds. You did pretty
He
good.
did awesome,
Cheer
dude.
up.
He's the opposite of Shivlikov. Because if you look at every picture of Shivlikov, he is super happy.
Yeah. You, that is a interesting point where Shivlikov. I remember I met him when I competed at the Arnold,
Yeah.
and I think at amateur, and he won the heavyweights that year. And he had a very different look to him back then. He looked like a
Yeah.
freaking superhero.
Right.
He's gotten stronger since, but he was a little leaner, a little smaller then, and he had the same kind of look on his face as Kilkowski that whole time. Where
Mhm.
I think now he's just gotten fat enough where he's happy
Well, he's
because
also he's when he got back from Worlds, I think last year, because he made the finals last year, right, Shivlikov?
yeah.
It was him and Z in their group,
Hmm.
and he just got home, and the first thing he was doing, he was posting like a bunch of pictures of him and his dog.
Yeah, very very Dimitar-esque.
I was like, this dude's awesome.
But like I remember like I'd go down to like eat at that hotel in the morning, and it would be him surrounded by like five Russians, and I'm like, I don't even want to talk to those people. They're fucking frightening.
Yeah.
But now I see Shivakov, and he's like, hi, and he just looks like the happiest guy. I'm like, how did you find peace in your soul in like this 2 year span, or what happened?
He's
Because
like, I got a dog.
he must have gotten a dog. That must be the difference. Because
Dimitar would say, yes.
yeah, it's you.
Corgi? Is it a corgi?
He got a lot happier. Um, I think a good way to end this on the whole thing was so you're a week out from a contest.
Yes.
What do you plan to do this next week other than travel to the contest? As far as
I'm gonna get a massage in about 3 hours. I'm gonna get adjusted by my chiropractor tomorrow, and I'm gonna do almost no training,
okay,
which is
so
exactly what I like to do.
you're not gonna test out how your training cycle went by hitting
No,
PRs.
I was thinking, maybe like 110% of contest weight tomorrow for like 3 rounds, but no, I decided not to do that.
And so actually resting, taking care of your body, because usually when you're doing for a heavy show like a Platinum Plus, you beat yourself into the ground, so you need stuff like a massage, and maybe some nice contrast baths and all those kind of recovery methods.
Yeah, I've been training for this one for because whenever Dion first posted about it, like in December. Okay, so we found out about the date in December. I didn't even know what the events are. I said, okay, this is close to my parents. I'm gonna fly home, see my parents, and then I'm gonna go down to this competition because I wanted a big one to train for. Well, I trained for 8 months for this, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get stronger in a week. And there's also no point to testing anything because what really matters is what you do there.
Yeah, so but how can you deal with that week of not training? That's the thing I see people say, like, "Oh, how I can't. I feel like I have to do something."
I read more. I get the little things done around the house that I call delayed discrepancies, and maybe play some more video games.
Oh, so
Try to relax.
you have other interests that you can occupy your time with.
A couple,
Yeah,
recently finished Harry Potter, things like that.
I think that's an important thing to have in life, and I've found is so you have other things that can occupy your time, so you don't do that. That's the same thing I'd do is I'd like, oh, these projects I need to do around my house, which I put off, which that's pretty much all I do now is work on crap instead of train. Um, I'd I'd do that like before the contest and stuff, and then still you're still staying busy and you're doing other things, but
I
not.
mean, I like I'll wake up. I woke up today, and normally when I wake up on Sunday after an event day, I'm like, oh, but I woke up today and I was like, huh. I was like, nothing really hurts. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah, it's a good feeling to have before you go because then you're probably actually going to perform well. Because as you can see at Worlds and stuff and we're talking about is a lot of the battle is like it doesn't matter if like let's say another competitor there is 15% stronger than you,
Yeah.
but he's beat up, so he can't clean the log correctly, or his shoulders bugging him, so his press is affected 20%. Well, then he's not stronger than you anymore. Like being healthy is very, it's not talked about as much as if you can go into a contest healthy. It's very underrated in a way. It's weird to say, but
Yeah.
and if you tell that to anyone, it makes sense. But then majority of people don't follow it. I've done stupid shit close to a contest before, and like
I know some people worry about. They're like, well, what if and since I follow, not only strongman but weightlifting, powerlifting,
yeah,
etc.
it all applies.
With something like weightlifting, with that, you're a little more concerned with losing some technical proficiency. Okay,
Hmm.
you want to make sure you get some snatches and clean jerks that week. Nothing crazy heavy, but you do want to, do some. When you've got like a stone and a frame deadlift and a log coming up, I'm not going to forget how to do those in 7 days.
No, not if you've been training them, for years. They're
Right.
they're pretty simple and they're almost, pretty damn similar movements too.
You go to pick up this stone, you're like, what do I do? Like
Yeah.
triple extension? What happened? So no, I just want to feel good that day, man.
Yeah, it's a little different if you're very new to the sport and your
Yeah.
technical proficiency with the implements is low. It might behoove you. I think I used that word correctly. Um,
Indeed.
to do a little bit of event practice, not like contest weight, but just think about, okay, where do I put my hands? Where do I want my hips?
Yeah.
On a log or even, a stone or something, a little close, within a week out of a contest, but not like running through it at contest weight. Because at that point you're still at the point where you can learn how to do the movements better, and you might actually forget how to do something at the show. So it's going to be more beneficial. You you just need to learn the implements as good as possible versus get stronger when starting out. Of course, getting stronger helps, but you need to be a technician on the stuff. So if that's the case, it's like one of your first, you're new to the sport and you're still kind of learning how to do it. You might still want to, train a little closer up to the contest, not heavy again, not
Right.
anything taxing, just enough weight where you can feel it. And you can kind of ingrain that movement and those motor patterns into your mind versus, just going out there and once the whistle blows, just kind of forgetting what to do is a good idea. And another thing I see people do when they are new to strongman is they have a certain pace that they do the events at in training,
Sure.
and then they hear like competitor ready, set, whistle, and it seems like they're rushing everything, like it's a race, which it is, but you have to remember that 60 seconds is a long time to pick something up from the ground and put it over your head and then repeat yourself. Um, so it's you have to find that pace in training, because like I'll hear, and I work with a lot of competitors with my coaching that it's one of their first contests or something like that, and then they're like, oh, I went out there, but then I felt like the whistle blew and I just forgot what to do. It's why it's so important to just kind of think and be deliberate in your movements versus like you think like by rushing something and then not sitting down to lap the log and get it
Yeah.
high on your chest before you clean it, for example, is somehow going to make it better because you seem like you're exerting more energy by making your movements faster. It's not, but it's not necessarily making you better. It's actually most likely not going to. Um, so this again gets to my point that I always try to make on why training implements is more so for practice to get proficient at them versus actual strength, gaining strength, especially when you first start, and why you shouldn't go super stupid heavy on them when you haven't even learned how to do them yet. Anything else to add to that, Mike?
No, that pretty much summarizes everything that I feel about it. So no.
Yeah, it seems like common sense, but it helps to kind of reiterate some of these things every now and then, and hopefully the listeners out there appreciate that stuff. Been getting pretty good downloads these past two shows since started podcasting again. I appreciate Mike for joining me. You can follow Mike at Chrono Strength. All the follow me on at Starting Strongman everywhere. Personal accounts are Let Kale Lift or Kale Beck. And
or a puppy and his pony.
Yeah, or a puppy and his pony, or this or that. Not as much a puppy and his pony stuff out there, but that's okay. They still play. That's the number one question I've gotten since I moved is like, well, what happened to Willow? I'm like, well, Willow's fine, but there's more. When picking a house to buy, there's a lot of decisions that have to go into it, and sometimes the best decision doesn't involve enough. You have to sacrifice somewhere, especially in California. So Willow now lives at my wife's work, which is a great facility, and it's way better than our backyard would be. And Domino still goes over there a couple times a week to play. So everything's good in a puppy and his pony life. And if you still want to keep listening, of course, subscribe on iTunes. I've been putting them up, just the audio with like a picture on YouTube, and I'm surprised how many people actually watch it there. So I think I'll keep doing that. And of course,
sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, that's just search Starting Strongman on YouTube and subscribe to that, and I have a lot of old videos as well. Go ahead, Mike.
If you want to watch the competition next weekend, the Platinum Plus or the Strongest Woman in the World competition, you can go on Flow to that.
Oh yeah, that's going to be on.
That'll be on Flow.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point to have. Yeah, that's going to be broadcast live on Flow flowelite.com. That's FLOELITE.com. They're a great company. I know a couple of the people that work there. I've worked with them to cover some of the events, like the Arnold and Europe's Strongest Man. It does cost money, but it's worth it because it's a subscription service. So people think like they just want to buy it once, but you get way more benefit by doing the subscription because it still has all the archive footage. Like you can watch the entire Arnold Pro show there. They had the North American Championships, the Giants Live event that was in Martinsville a couple weeks ago. There's Europe's Strongest Man and the Deadlift World Championships.
It's well done. It's all good production value.
Yeah, and I think especially Europe's was really fun to watch. But if you've watched Eddie Hall's like 500 kilo deadlift, but you've only seen the clips online, if you go on Flow and you watch everything that led up to it and after, where he's like regaining consciousness almost, it's worth watching. So
it's really intense.
Yeah, it's and there's like 8 people have to pick him up. It's what you
crying. It's good.
Yeah, he gives his Rocky speech. I think he went up and he went to the crowd and he said, "If I can change, we can all change." But it wasn't quite that. But yeah, I would recommend checking that out.
That would have been awesome if he did that. If I could change, and you can change, just like that.
Yeah, it's not quite what he said, but it was a cool moment. It's worth watching the whole thing if you actually care about that stuff. And if you've listened to Mike and myself ramble for an hour, I assume you do. And we'll be back next week to do it again. And hope you join us. Have a good one.
Later.